It's going to clean our kitchen here, and I want to show you there is a difference between one that has a roller brush like this, like on a wet dry vacuum, and ones that are going to be on any other robo vacuum that doesn't have a wet dry mop attached to it. So in terms of overall mopping performance, you can just see that it is not only rubbing and cleaning your floors, but it is going to be removing that dirty liquid into its tank, so it does a better job extracting things off your floors as well. This is the Hydrojet system, and it's going to clean the rolling mop in real time so that it can pick up and clean your floor better than just what you would use on a Swiffer WetJet. Taking a closer look at the Hydrojet system, you're going to notice that you have this, which is going to be that brush roll. And as you see, once we take it out, you have a scraper here. And that scraper is going to be scraping off the debris off of your roller. And this is the same technology you see on wet dry vacuums. They've just transported inside of your robot vacuum. The only difference is that here, the tank itself has to be a lot smaller. And the mop pad itself is going to be rotating 360 times per minute, and it's going to be 11.4 inches long. So again, this is basically the same thing as a wet dry vacuum that they put inside of your robot vacuum. So this is going to be the dustbin, and what we notice on a lot of these robo vacuums, because they're putting so many different types of components on board, the dustbins have been getting smaller and smaller, and it's no different from what you see here. You can open all the compartments to clean it easily inside of the dustbin here. Just make sure you always put back your filter. The other part is that now they're using these two-hole systems, so it's going to have better air suction quality. So they're also using these two-hole systems that you have one hole here and one hole here. That's going to give it better airflow so that the 20,000 Pascal of turbo suction is going to be more effective and it's not going to get clogged with hair. If you want to remove the water tank, you just want to press this button here. It also will have a small roller here, and if you wanted to clean it yourself, you can, because there's going to be holes that you can drain it from. So there's going to be your drain ports here, as well as your second drain port here. And then there's another piece here. It can also be open so that if you have any clogs, you can clean it up. So this is, again, very much like a wet dry vacuum. So the interesting thing about the Eufy's dual spiral detangling brushes is that these are going to be retracting. So what that means is that as it vacuums, it's actually going to not really have a large gap here. But once it goes back to its base, it's going to retract and it's going to rotate these in the opposite pattern. And because it rotates in the opposite pattern, all the hair is going to be going into the center. And then what happens is that if you take a look, you have a suction port. So you have a vent right here. And there's going to be a vent here. So there's always going to be constant airflow that's going to be giving additional suction so that there's less chance of hair clogs. And if there is a hair clog or even, let's say, a cord, it's going to go into the middle when you're emptying the vacuum bin. So we just flipped our Eufy around after it just picked up that hair. You can see all the hair pools in the middle. So we're going to see if we let it run just for a little bit longer, is all the hair going to get sucked through? We just picked up the hair. So let's see, is our unit clogged? Because that was a lot of hair. And as you can see, the rollers are empty. And that's because the hair was able to be collected into the center right there. And if we're looking at our rollers are also clean. So I don't notice any peanut butter here. There's no jam. And that's because the scraper tool is able to scrape off any of that debris. And it's going to go into its dirty water tank. And that dirty water tank, it flushes very hard inside of your clean station. So I was quite surprised how loud it was to clean the dirty water, but it is actually extremely effective, much more effective than I thought it would be on a robo vacuum. Because you look at our floors, and this is the real testament, you look at these floors, do you see any of the peanut butter? Do you see any of the jelly? And that's a robo vacuum that was able to pick it up. And then if we take our Eufy and we look at, was the hair collected inside of the bin? That's easy as well. So we're just going to pop it open. We're going to take out our tank here. And let's see, was our hair pulled in? And yes, so you can see the hair is pulled in, and you can see the shape that it brings it. So it will bring everything to the center, and then when there's enough suction power, it just sucks it through. And you can see we have two different groupings because we had hair in two different areas. So for our mop test, because this is coming with a roller brush, we're going to use it with peanut butter and jam. And remember, normally we would just do it with some coffee or something easier because they're going to be using some rolling brush or they're going to have a spin brush. But here, because it's going to mimic a wet dry vacuum, we want to see, does it work like a wet dry vacuum? It might not have enough water to pick everything up, at least if you have a lot of peanut butter on the floor, but we're just going to use a little bit, and we're going to use a little bit of jam and see how it performs. The mop test is going to illustrate how effective it is at picking up these kind of sticky messes, something that you would never consider using a Robovac for. So that's because it has that scraper, so it's not only going to pick it up, it's going to recognize that there is this type of stain on the floor, and it's going to go over it repeatedly until the stain is gone. And that is the difference between the Eufy and other units. So because of those sensors on the bottom of the Eufy, it's going to see the stain, it's going to go over the stain, it's going to keep going over it repeatedly until the stain is gone. And that's something impressive. And it can even go back and check if the stain is still there, if you have the right settings. And then if it's still there, it's going to clean it again. So you're just seeing just better overall performance as a mop because the mechanism, the mop mechanism, has been updated, and the results speak for themselves. Look how clean my floors are here. So if you hear that drone in the background, that is the mop pads washing themselves. So the funny thing about the scraper is that by the time your Eufy gets back to its clean station, it's already going to be relatively clean compared to another or a different Robovac that has a mop. And that's because it's cleaning itself in real time instead of waiting until it brings it back to the base station. When your robot is in use, you'll notice that you have the light on here. Let's talk about the spot cleaner setup here. So once you use it as a spot cleaner, you're going to notice two things. First, let's say you never used a spot cleaner before. This is going to be a great option for you because now you can finally clean that stain on your carpet, on your sofa, or on your mattress, or wherever a spot cleaner is needed. The second part of it is that let's say you only use a spot cleaner 1 or 2 times a year. Now, because of the dual storage option, you have a spot cleaner built into your RoboVacuum, so the overall footprint inside your house is going to be smaller. So you're just getting more dual purpose here, more functionality, and if you're looking at the overall functionality and how well it works, it does do a good job as a spot cleaner. It has good suction. It's not going to be the most powerful because it's not the most dedicated, but it's still going to be an effective spot cleaner. If you're taking a closer look at your clean station, it's going to be coming with a 3-liter dust bag here. So I'm just going to open it. So this is going to be the hose as well as the tool for your spot cleaner here. And if you want to take a closer look, let me just detach our spot cleaner. And then if you open this up, this is where you have access to the bag. So this bag is going to be a 3-liter dust bag, and that's going to give you, according to Eufy, about 75 days of maintenance-free service. So if you take it out, it's just a standard dust bag here, guys, and there's no fan here that's going to be adding any additional cooling or anti-smell properties. But that's okay because this dust bag, because of the close proximity to the actual vacuum, it does do a good job getting everything out of here and into the bag. The closer it is, the more effective it is at extracting and removing everything out. Your unit will come with auto washing and hot air drying, and the air is going to be a 35 to 50 degrees Celsius. So your dirty water tank is going to be 1.8 liters, and everything is going to come all together inside of the station. To note that even though your unit is not self-cleaning, it will have a pump, and you will be able to remove this. There's no real screen here. They just put this little plastic cover so that any of the debris will get caught in here, and you could take it to the sink and flush it. But I think, in case if you're wondering, I just like how easy it is to take this out because it makes it easy to clean. So the Eufy side brush on the right side is going to be able to eject itself out, and that means it can get closer to your baseboards and under your cabinets. Your Eufy will also come with sensors. Your Eufy also comes with sensors here, 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 and you have the AI cameras in the front. So there's a lot of sensors here that are trying to do its best to figure out what's on your floor. And Eufy uses something called AIC, and they have been upgrading their AI software so that now it can detect up to 200 different obstacles, which allows it to have industry-leading number of obstacles that it can recognize on the camera. Because remember, it's not just about the camera, it's about what can it actually see in front of it and detect and figure out so that it can make the best cleaning path. So this is going to be coming with that RGB visual recognition system. It also has LED lights for low light cleaning. So when you combine it all together, it can recognize different stains on your floors, it can adapt its cleaning strategies, and it's just going to map out your floor faster because it has to, in my opinion, be a combination of the LiDAR, the front-facing camera, and it's going to have an advanced AI detection system that can notice and recognize what's in front of it properly. So you can see that it makes a 3D map initially for you. You can make this in 2D, but with the LiDAR, it is really good at just sensing where everything is. And the LiDAR map is actually very impressive how quickly it makes it. And you can see that this happened all within about 3 minutes. So it took 3 minutes to map your home, and it's 3D and it's relatively accurate. It's not going to have noticing a lot of obstacles, but it is good at detecting types of carpet or if there is carpet on the floor. So as you see, we have it in 3D, but let's go into a 2D mode. In terms of your map here, if you want to edit it, you just press the edit map function, and then you're going to have the map editor. And you can either decide to send it out yourself in an auto mode, or you can do it a customized. So you're going to have common. So this is going to allow you to add the cleaning tasks. So choose your usual cleaning scenarios. You have home. Inside of home, you can just make all of your adjustments here. You have AI automation. That's like a auto IQ mode or automated mode. Then you can also between vacuum mop or vacuum and mop or vacuum only. So vacuum and mop or vacuum only. You don't have the option to just remove the mop pads like you do on other units. Cleaning intensity will be deep or fast. You have water levels if you want to do it with the mop. You have suction from quiet, turbo, and then all the way to max. Max is going to be using the maximum suction level of your Robovac, but it's going to automatically affect its recharge as well as battery life. See on the map that it's going to map out the floor orientation accordingly so that it will adjust its angles as well as what it does based on the orientation of your floors. So your unit's going to be coming with auto drying. So you have drying mode between quick dry and standard dry. And quick dry is going to allow it to dry within 3.5 hours, and standard dry is 5 hours. You have auto empty, you have auto mop washing, and you have auto add detergent. So you have those 4 modes there. You're also going to be getting your schedule manage map. So in manage map, you can adjust your maps and those manage multi-floors. And then you have your cleaning preferences. You're going to have boost IQ. So while cleaning, Robovac will automatically increase suction power when it detects carpets. Carpet cleaning mode, it depends on which mode you are. You have dirty spot cleaning. So when ground stains like coffee are detected, a precise deep mopping action will target the stain. In sweep only mode, when dirt is detected, precision mopping will clean a spot. A self-cleaning cycle will follow at the task end. So for that, I do like to keep that active. So anytime it finds a dirty spot, it's going to go back. Also going to have the Eufy Lab. So Eufy Lab, you can do a smart track cleaning. So once activated, you can use the wake up action to have your robot follow you and clean the floor along your route. So when the robot is in standby mode, press the front bumper with your foot for at least 3 seconds. The robot will enter smart track cleaning mode. When you hear the voice say start smart track cleaning, and then it's going to follow you, and as you walk around it just follows you. And then if you want finish tracking, stand with both feet facing the front of the robot. You send your right foot forwards and then return it to the original position, and then it's going to say exit smart track cleaning. So what's our verdict on the Eufy Omni E28? Well, it really surprised me and how effective it was. As a robovacuum, it is a very solid robovacuum, but as a mop, it really stands out from its competition incredibly because it pretty much acts like a wet-dry mop. It might not have the same tank capacity, but it does a great job just picking different things off your floor without you having to do it. And then you have to add that it's a 3-in-1, so you're going to have a spot cleaner built in. So there's more functionality with this clean station here than you get with other machines. And I think with that, it's going to be a good value. It's really going to depend on what you pay for it. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. And please hit that like or subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, bye, bye.